I am live on Facebook and YouTube. So with a 20-second delay, don't you worry because it'll happen. So I just want to make sure you can hear me before I start talking. But today I want to talk about the Latin Podcast Awards and the 6 days that are left. So any sound? Anybody? Any sound?
Yes.
There is sound?
Yes.
Oh, there is sound. So, okay. Well, I'm going to hang up with you. Thank you, caller number one, for being so sweet and letting me know that there is sound. I appreciate people like you. In the future, more folks like you should really listen to this show, this broadcast. Thank you again. Bye. Yep, that was caller number one out of the door. So here we are. I'm back in the studios. I've been out for a little bit. We've been traveling and getting to meet our family and hanging out and all that good stuff. And the bottom line is very simple. Is that we have been having a lot of fun lately. But fun is over. It's time to work. And I just want to give you a little update on the Latin Podcast Awards. I am Felix Montelara for Audio Dice Network, creators of the Latin Podcast Awards. So with that said, I just want to let you know that we are 6 days away from closing the registrations for the Latin Podcast Awards. So if you have not registered your podcast for the Latin Podcast Awards, you still have 6 days to go. If you ask, how do I qualify for the Latin Podcast Awards? It's simple. All you have to do is you have to have some type of nexus to the Latino community. With that, I mean is, when I say nexus, what I'm talking about is I am talking about where basically you have some type of connection. The connection could be you made an episode that is geared towards the Latino population. The connection can be that you have a producer, an editor, someone on your staff that is Latino that works on your podcast. It will qualify. The nexus can be that the topic is geared towards Latinos. So any nexus on that you have with your podcast for the Latino community, that episode would qualify. Therefore, your podcast will qualify. But you will have to submit that one episode if that's all you have, which is the episode towards Latinos, right? An example would be if you're an immigration lawyer and you're talking about DACA and all that good stuff, that would qualify. Another example would be if you live in a Latino country, but you're from the UK, or you're from Australia, or you're from another country, Brazil, and you do a podcast geared towards that country where you live at, that will qualify. So we're not limiting the Latin Podcast Award just to Latinos. It's if you have some type of nexus towards the Latino community, or you have somebody working within that's Latino, your podcast will qualify. We do accept podcasts in English, and we accept podcasts in the Spanish language. We do give an award to the English language podcast. We do not give an award to the Spanish language podcast because mainly most of them are Spanish language. We do have an award for the bilingual podcast. So when you do the bilingual podcast, that can also be. We give an awards for the country that you're making your podcast at, and we give an awards for the iTunes category that you qualify. Now, the iTunes category, we do not know what they're all going to be until the end of June, not the end of June, June 16th, when is the day that we close. So just keep that in mind when you're putting in, because sometimes we don't have the category, a competition within the category, but you still do qualify for all the other categories that I talked about. Where you're from. Now, there is an exception to all this. And the exception is for a podcast with less than a year of its creation. If you have a podcast that has been created less than a year ago, it would only compete in two categories. One is a revelation of the year, revelación del año, and the other one is popularity. We do have one popularity contest because we believe that there are some real popular podcasts out there that need to be recognized. But really, when it comes to how all the other categories are decided, it's through a panel of judges. So everything is merit based panel of judges, except for that one popularity contest. We do it because it does attract some of the best, funniest, and coolest podcasts around, which not necessarily take care of all the aspects of the audio and being, correct, but they are popular. And I think podcasts like that deserve a break. They deserve a chance to win when it comes to all that. So I am actually transmitting today for the first time with my YOLO Live. And I'm able to transition from two cameras that are HDMI and a USB camera. So I have three cameras that I can change the scenes to, if you see here. And this one here is the USB camera. So it's like one of those cameras that you buy that you put separate from the computer. And then this one here, the front one, is a camcorder, a Sony camcorder. And then this one here is another camcorder. So that's that shot there. So I'm just saying this because a lot of people ask me about live streaming, and I have done a live streaming course for podcast movement. And, it's really interesting that this can be done, and I'm using this YOLO Live. Not selling it, not part of my thing. None of the equipment I've just talked about is I'm selling. I'm not. It's just, I just wanted to mention it because you're going to see today some different scenes, and that's what it is. It's just that we are doing a YOLO Live, and it has its own switcher. And the cool part is that I can use this USB camera, which I think is pretty neat. We can also insert there another computer or SD card, whatever we want. All those details. We can do that when it comes to that. But today we're talking about 6 more days left. 6 days left for the Latin Podcast Awards registration. Remember, you have to register first. Then, once you register, your podcast gets reviewed, and if it fulfills all the requirements, only then it becomes nominated. So not 100% of all the podcasts that have been submitted have been nominated. That is true. It happens every year when it comes to that. Every single year we get that. We get a couple that do not qualify for one reason or another. This year has not been an exception, and people have been smart. They've actually read the rules and the regulations, and they actually write to us, and we tell them, look, this one does not qualify. Here's why. You haven't had it pot faded. You brought it back, and you brought it back in 2020, and it was way too far out for it to compete. So there's that stuff that's going on, and like I said, I'm enjoying a lot doing this here. I hit the wrong one. Here we go. Doing this right here today. This is my first time transmitting with my YOLO Live, and I think it's pretty cool that I can do this. Let me give myself an applause. Hopefully you can hear that. Or if not, it did not work. There you go. And if it worked, yeah. Anyway, so that's basically what's going on. Thank you very much. 6 more days for the Latin Podcast Awards registration. There's 2 ways to go about it. One, you can become a member of the Academy Awards for Latino Podcasting, the International Academy Award for Latino podcasters. You join there, the price is 50% lower. Why? Because we want you to be part of the awards ceremony. We want you to be part of the Academy, which is a union. It's like a combination of podcasters. So it's not an academy for education. We do have a few courses there. We will put up some more, but that's not our main goal. But we will do it. We will put it to where you can enjoy some other courses and stuff like that. So that's really it when it comes to all that. I hope you really enjoyed watching these 3 different scenes with the YOLO box. And if you have any questions about that, you can email me. Everybody knows fmontalera at audiodice.net, or administrator in English, administrator at latinpodcastawards.com, or info at latinpodcast.org. Those are the 3 emails: info at latinpodcast.org, administrator at latinpodcastawards.com, or fmontalera at audiodice.net. 6 days left, folks. 6 days. We are going to close. We have something we're working. This is our 5th anniversary. We're working something very special. We're going to have a few musical acts within the show this year. We're looking for a female act of it's got to be cantautora. So it's got to be a composer that is independent, that has their own music. If you're a female that does that, you're independent, you're composing your own music, and you want to be in the Latin Podcast Awards, this is your invitation. Yes, we have some time for that. We can work that out. But right now we have a couple. We're going to do a press release to make it official with these 2 gentlemen that have actually put in. There were a lot more that put in, but we can only accept 2 or 3 for the show, and that was great. Maybe next year I'll do a competition with that. Maybe I can do that. That was really interesting that we have so many responses for the music, but we haven't had a female yet. So maybe I missed the boat. If you know somebody, let them know. We're looking. They gotta have it's really important that the music is their own music, it's their own composition, and that they own all the rights, and that they're independent. So if you know anyone like that, send them our way to one of those 3 emails that I just gave you. But that's basically what we're doing here. We've been live now for 13 minutes. It's been really, really, really interesting. Let's see if I can show you the YOLO box from this point of view. Here's the YOLO box where we're transmitted from right here. So it's pretty neat. You can switch stuff just by hitting a button. You will switch all the scenes, and there you go. And you can have more. You can have up to 4 scenes and add whatever you want to it. So it's pretty interesting. Oh, it's portable, batteries, self-contained, its own internet if you buy a SIM card, SIM card. So, and it's got an SD card if you want to record. So it's really, really cool. We're playing with this today, trying to do this live. This is all we have. This is all I have for you. That's the only thing that I can tell you, that June 16th is the closing of the registration. Now, I had a date for the Latin Podcast Awards, but I may change that. And the reason is we're working, because this is our 5th anniversary. We're trying to do something special, like really super special, in the sense that not only do we have music, which we've never had before, we have two musical acts now that we have lined up. We may have a couple more if we can get what we need here, but we also want to do something else a little bit more special. We have Revolver podcasts are coming on board, which is great. We're gonna get Revolver podcast. We're gonna get the podcast from Argentina, that Podway podcast is coming on board, and we're gonna get the podcast company from Costa Rica, Emotions Podcast. So they're coming on board. We got really good quality, and we have really great podcasts for you. So, with that said, I am done. I will not take your time. 6 more days. If you know a podcaster, let them know that we are closing. It doesn't matter if they're in English or Spanish. It doesn't matter if they're Anglos or Latinos, as long as they have a nexus with the Latino community. That can be the one episode that they submit, the one episode that's talking about Latinos, or it's for Latinos, or by Latinos. When I say by Latinos, I am talking that the podcast is somebody on your team is Latino. All you have to tell us is what's your nexus on the form, on the registration form, and we will take your word for it. Okay? Simple as that. We will take your word for it. Now, if it turns out that it's not true, then we'll have problems and we'll deal with that one. Oh, we'll deal with that one later. But right now, I don't foresee anybody doing crazy stuff like that. So please, we'll just ask you, if you have a nexus, what's your nexus? Nexus means what's your connection to the Latino community. Your podcast can be in English or Spanish. Doesn't matter what country in the world, as long as you get it in by June 16th. That is 6 days from now. Please enjoy. Bye for right now. Now I got to figure out how to finish this broadcast. I think I got it. Let's see. I'll go here. Where am I? Right here. I'll go here, which is that camera, and I'll say, adios, my friend.